Today's episode of Off the Timeline is titled, What If Georgia Lost Vince Dooley and College Football Broke Early? Georgia fans don't experience college football like everyone else. They remember who wronged them, they remember who left, and they never forget the momentum the foundation cracked. Because in this universe, it doesn't crack quietly. In 1983, Vince Dooley doesn't retire, he walked. Not because the game passed him by, not because Georgia declined, but because Georgia chose chaos. And once that happened, college football never recovered. Part 1, 1983. Georgia chooses wrong. Dooley's resignation devastates Athens. Boosters want control. Admins want optics. Dooley wanted autonomy. He lost. Georgia responds the way panicked powers often do. They hire culture instead of football. The disaster hire is Jerry Faust, a man with zero SEC instincts, dropped into the most hostile conference in America. Georgia fans feel it instantly. This isn't anger yet. It's something much, much worse. It's confusion. Part 2, Dooley Reborn, The Betrayal. Vince Dooley ends up at Penn State, and this is where the Georgia fan base hardens. Because Dooley doesn't fade, he ascends. By 1988, Penn State is national champion. By 1991, they do it again. Dooley becomes something unthinkable, the architect of modern power football outside the SEC. For Georgia fans, this is the deepest cut. Not just losing Dooley, but watching him become a legend somewhere else. Part 3, Georgia's Lost Decade, 1984 to 1997. Georgia cycles coaches, cycles hope, cycles excuses. They're bowl eligible, they're respectable, and they're irrelevant. From 1984 through the mid 90s, Georgia becomes what its fans fear most, a program people stop talking about. Meanwhile, Florida modernizes, Tennessee rises, Auburn and Alabama feast, Georgia doesn't fall, it dissolves. Part 4, The Dooley Aftershock, 1993 to 1999. Penn State still joins the Big Ten in this alternate universe. Dooley brings SEC muscle north. The Big Ten suddenly matters nationally. This matters more than it seems, because for the first time, the SEC doesn't control destiny alone. Georgia fans notice something terrifying. The sport is moving on without them. Part 5, The Gamble, Georgia blinks. By 2000, Georgia is done being patient. They don't want stability, they want fear. So they do the unthinkable. They hire Steve Spurrier, the man who humiliated them, the man who mocked them. And Georgia fans accept it instantly because this fan base understands one thing deeply: winning fixes everything. From 2001 to 2005, Georgia is alive again. SEC titles, national relevance, recruiting battles reignited. Georgia doesn't dominate yet, but they're back in the game. Part 6, Structure Replaces Romance, 2006 to 2013. This is when college football changes permanently. A 4-team playoff launches early. The sport reorganizes around two poles, the SEC, the Big Ten. Penn State becomes corporate elite, efficient, cold. Georgia becomes dangerous. When something else starts to happen, Notre Dame starts shrinking, not in size, in leverage. Georgia fans see the lesson. Power isn't history, power is access. Part 7, NIL arrives early, 2014 to 2016. Money stops hiding. NIL arrives before anyone is ready. And Georgia is perfectly positioned. Why? Because Georgia fans have always known this truth. If Athens ever stopped pretending, it would be unstoppable. From 2016 to 2020, Georgia becomes the SEC's gravity well. Top recruiting classes, playoff consistency, institutional confidence. By 2019, the question is not, can Georgia win it all? It's, who is allowed to challenge them? Part 8, the final axis, 2021 to 2025. The sport collapses inward. Two super conferences, one product, and one matchup that defines everything. Georgia versus Ohio State. Every year, every narrative, every measuring stick. Georgia fans don't flinch. Because this fan base didn't inherit dominance, they waited for it. They survived losing Dooley, watching him thrive elsewhere, being forgotten, being mocked, being told, quote unquote, next year. And when power finally centralized, Georgia was ready. Part 9, Backlash and Antitrust the Cost. By 2024, fans revolt. Same teams, same matchups, same access. Investigations begin. Guardrails appear. But nothing breaks. Georgia fans understand why. Because they've lived the alternative. They know what happens when you don't control your destiny. The universe isn't about Georgia winning. It's about Georgia enduring long enough to actually matter again. It's about losing the man who built you and still becoming what he believed you could be. Because in the end, Georgia fans don't want fairness, they want reckoning. And in this universe, they finally get it. If you made it this far, you already know that this isn't just a what if, so hit like, subscribe for the next universe, and comment below. Does Georgia still become inevitable? Or does losing Dooley change everything forever?